Okay, so we are on the final lesson for Unit 2 for Unit 2, and it's Lesson 15, and it's focused on mathematical practices. And last time we talked about patterns, and you will notice a pattern that the last lesson in every unit is always about mathematical practices. So what a mathematical practice is it's how you solve the problems, what you do, that you analyze it, that you use the correct tools, that you don't give up. I mean, those are the practices. So the lesson focus is to solve real world word problems, that's a tongue twister, with a variety of strategies. And we've talked about strategies, it's how you solve them, okay? So math is in almost everything you do. And I know we have some cooks in our room. I am not one of them, but I do know how to read a recipe. And recipe is all about, even though you're reading, you're also using math, you're using science when you cook. And you don't have to just cook for a human, but like if I wanted to make Zane dog biscuits, I could follow a recipe. Well, here is a recipe that zookeepers use. And with any recipe, you'll see, I keep forgetting that. You'll keep seeing that there's a serving size. And I know that this is really hard because when I blew it up, it got all fuzzy, but luckily you should have your book right next to you. And so you'll notice that this recipe actually makes 8 servings. So what they want to know in the first question is how much of each ingredient is in one gorilla serving. So you're going to have to change the recipe, but how do you do it? Well, this is a definite real world problem. A lot of recipes that I cook, or well, Mr. Wade cooks, is for maybe 4 people. Well, there's only 2 of us. So we usually try and have things. So we divide by 2. Well, if this makes 8 servings and you only want 1, you're going to divide by 8. So you need to divide each of these by 8 and see how much, if I only wanted to make it for this one gorilla, we'll name him Bob. If I just want to serve Bob and nobody else, like maybe I'm making Bob a special treat, how do I do it? What do I need to do? Instead of buying all the ingredients, how many would I need? So I want you to do that. And then also it says how much of each ingredient in the gorilla zoo stew recipe is needed to serve 6 gorillas. Well, taking 8 to 6, we know that they don't work together. You can't divide 8 and get 6. So what you're going to need to do now is multiply whatever you get here by 6, and that will be your answer here. Okay? So I think you can do that. Take your time. Think about it. You have to feed Bob correctly. He would be very sad if he doesn't get his meal. Next, we have a pictograph. And I know you have been doing pictographs since 1st grade. Okay, at least 1st grade. So a 3rd grade class took a field trip to the zoo. The students were asked to name their favorite zoo animals. The pictograph below shows the animals and the students chose. Well, if you've got a lot of people there, if you made a smiley face for every single person, it would be like off the page. So instead, here it says each smiley face stands for 7 students. So when you fill this in, you need to multiply each, however many smiley faces there are, by 7. And that's how you're going to get the answer for each of these. So let's do bear together. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 smiley faces. And I know each one stands for 7. So I'm going to multiply it. 7 times 7 is 49. Now, if I made a smiley face for each student for 49, like I said, it would be way out here. Okay? So that's why sometimes you'll see the pictographs represent more than one person. It makes it a little more concise. So I would write 49. There you go. I want you to do this with the rest of it. And then I want you to solve this bottom problem. If 63 students chose a zebra as their favorite zoo animal, how many symbols would you use to show that on the pictograph? Well, if we know that each symbol stands for 7, what do you need to do with 63? I think you know the answer. Well, this is the last one. So after you're done with this, you're going to do, well, first of all, you still have to do your homework. You still have to do your writing prompt. Should still look over any other videos that I have. Then after that, you're going to do quiz 2. You're going to do the practice test. And then when I feel like you're ready, you are going to take the real test. And then you could move on to 3. So do your best. Try hard. Don't get distracted. Don't get flustered. And I will see you with the videos on Unit 3.